Hey everyone, in this video we're gonna draw a dragon with ballpoint pen. Ballpoint pen might feel a little bit intimidating to work with because you cannot erase, but it's actually more forgiving than you might think. But I'm gonna explain more about that later on in this video. I'm gonna start with drawing a rough outline of the head first. And just like with all my other dragons, this dragon is also based on an animal. But I'm not gonna tell you what animal that is quite yet, because I don't think you're ever gonna guess. I'm gonna keep my lines really light, because even though we cannot erase ballpoint pen, we can still layer it, and that means we can draw over our mistakes and over the lines that we do not want. I'm following the head shape of the animal that is my inspiration, but that animal does not have horns, so I'm adding those in. And if you struggle with drawing horns, I recommend drawing many animals who do have horns, like goats and sheep or antelopes. And by drawing them often, you'll learn how to position the horns on the head, and that will really benefit your dragons. When we have the rough shape of a dragon, we're gonna slowly start adding details, but we still draw very light because we do want to draw over them later on. I also gonna add some stripes on the neck of the dragon, and that has nothing to do with a reference, but that is what a reference is, it's just an inspiration. But one thing that I do want to copy from the reference is the eye. It is an eye with a pupil, and if you know me, most of my dragons don't have pupils in their eyes because I want their eyes to be like a mystery, like a void. Like my dragons, they are older than time itself, so if you stare into their eyes, you stare into eternity itself. Because in the lore of my dragons, the pupils will slowly disappear over time, they will kind of fade. Because when they have seen their things, they're becoming really ancient, they are filled with knowledge and they are seeing the world in a different way. But the young ones, they do have the pupils to experience the world the same way as we do. And yes, I made it up myself, and that is the perk of designing your own dragons and your own creatures. You can come up with the lore as much as you like, and you can create stories as much as you want, and usually when I draw my dragons, I also make up the stories. And also when I'm drawing them, I also come up with their names, and because drawing is a lengthy process, and so you have also time to think about who the dragon is, what's his name, and what's he doing, the things he likes, the things he doesn't like, if he's evil, if he's good, and all the characteristics of the dragon. So when I start talking about the lore of my dragons, I kinda start rambling, so sorry about that. But if you want to know more about the lore, please let me know in the comments, because I can also do a video in which I would go through my sketchbook and tell about the story of each dragon. So let's get back to this drawing. I'm adding in the line work of the horns, which also gives them their shape. Because these lines, they are like guidelines for me, but they are also part of the texture of the horns. And I'm gonna add some decorations as well, and I do want to have some spikes on the neck, but I want them to be like a little bit ragged. Like this dragon is probably living near a swamp or something, so it doesn't look too neat. And I'm gonna shade the decorations a little bit darker, and as you can see, there isn't much room in my sketchbook, but that doesn't matter. Sometimes the sketches overlap a bit, and that's totally okay. If I like a work that is in there, I scan it or I take a photo from it and I continue it either in Photoshop, or I'm gonna draw it again and improve where I can. So my sketchbook is actually where the dragons are born, is where I experiment with ideas, but it doesn't have to be very neat, and that actually provides the freedom that we need to create. Like I mentioned before, ballpoint pen is actually more forgiving than you might think, because you can layer it. So if you draw really light at start, you can draw over your mistakes over and over again and make adjustments. You can't go lighter, but you can always go darker. And some people think that I only draw with ballpoint pen, but that is not the case. I make pencil drawings just as often, but with pencil drawings I do have the ability to erase. But a couple of years ago I started noticing that I was erasing so much it kinda stopped the flow of my drawing. My drawings became really stiff, they weren't very dynamic, and I wanted to fix that. So for a while I decided to draw with ballpoint pen only, and that was actually the same time when I started to draw my dragons, because I was very bad at drawing dragons. So I wanted to practice drawing without erasing mistakes, and I combined that with learning how to draw dragons. And at first my sketches, they were a total mess and it looked really bad. But later on I started to get the hang of it. My sketches became more dynamic, I became more confident in drawing. And right now I notice when I draw with pencil, I don't erase that much either. It's nice to have the ability to adjust things, but I don't mind working with ballpoint pen anymore. I don't mind. I've noticed that no matter which medium I work with now, I've become way more bold, and that was really what I needed. So if you struggle with constantly erasing your drawings, feeling very insecure about your work, I just recommend to draw with ballpoint pen for a while and nothing else. And I think I did that for almost a year, and now I work with pencils again, and it really changed my art for the better. So as you can see, I'm drawing in the scales and decorations right now. And the scales and decorations, they have nothing to do with the reference photo anymore. And that is because the reference photo was just an inspiration, and that is also why I think you're never gonna guess what it is. But that is how I like to use my reference. It gives me an idea, it gives me inspiration, but it also gives me a base. In this case, it was the head shape that I needed, because I do struggle with anatomy, and why do we have to come up with everything ourselves when nature has already given us so much information that we can learn from? And it's okay to use that, because artists that say that they never use any reference, I can guarantee you they lie, because you cannot draw something that you have never seen before. Because when you're able to draw without reference, that only means that you have learned what that animal or creature or that subject that you're drawing looks like with references. So it's only possible to learn to draw without reference by using many references. Because I can draw a horse without reference easily, because I drew many horses from photos or real life, so I know what a horse looks like. So yeah, technically I would be drawing from imagination, if you would call it like that, but that's only because I studied many horses, so I did have like references in my mind, if that makes any sense. If you want to know more about that, I do have a video about it either, so I will link that down below. So I hope I'm not rambling too much, because I'm trying a new type of voiceover by just looking at the drawing and telling you what I see and just telling you what comes to mind. Because before I was making voiceovers by reading the text that I just wrote, but it felt very artificial and it felt very unnatural to me. So I'm gonna just try it like this and see if you like it. So please let me know in the comments if it's horrible or not, or if you have any tips for me, because this is something that I really want to learn, I really want to improve on, and I refuse to use AI for my voiceovers. Even though I have a little bit of a stutter, I need to cut that out all the time and I have to do many takes. I just want to try because it feels like I'm more connecting to you. And as you can see, I added some stripes to the dragon. Lately my dragons have stripes because I don't know, I just like them. And I'm shading the scales as well. And with the larger scales, I shade them on the top side, and on the bottom side I leave like a gap of white open. And that actually makes it more dynamic. It gives some texture to the dragon and it makes its skin looks a little bit more 3D. It gives it a little bit more depth. And while I'm working on the scales, I'm also emphasizing the lines of them, because that will give them some depth, because it creates the idea of a shadow. And when I'm done with the scales in the neck, I'm gonna move to the throat. And if you have done more of my tutorials, you know that I want the throat of the dragon to be able to expand. So usually that texture is a little bit more wrinkly because it has to swallow its prey, and it makes sense that it would need to expand a lot, because my dragons, they eat like cows and horses and large prey, so that throat needs to be able to expand. So I'm gonna add some wrinkles and I'm gonna just create that by some messy lines and some shadows, and it gives a wrinkly effect. And this video is a speed up time lapse of my drawing, but if you would prefer to do more real-time tutorials which are fully narrated, I have those on my Patreon. The Dragon Rider tier is $1 a month, and that's a tier that contains all the tutorials. But there's also the possibility to become a free member, and with a free membership you already have access to drawing guides, and these are picture guides. They are available as well pictures and also as PDF files, and they are step-by-step drawing guides on how I draw a dragon or how I draw a griffin, and there are a couple on there that you might be interested as well with no extra cost. So I think it's time to reveal the reference, and like I said, you're never gonna guess because the dragon that we're drawing looks completely different, but this one is actually based off a hare. Yes, a hare. You can actually still see it in the eye, but if you would look at the skull of a hare, you can also see it's the head shape. So what I basically did, I searched for pixels of hares and I drew the head shape and I drew the eye exactly as it was, and I kind of went from there, and that is what I usually do. I need a start, I need a base to begin with, and for that I usually use an animal. Many times that's a horse, but in this case it's a hare, and it gives like a more cute looking dragon, and especially with that large eye. The larger the eyes of your creatures are, the more cute they look, and the more small the eyes of the creatures are, the more evil and chaotic they look. So yeah, this is a cute little baby dragon with a pupil based off a hare. And in this phase of the drawing, all we still need to do is adding details and working on the shading. And as you can see with the horns, I'm leaving a light area in the middle of the horn, and on the edges I shaded a little bit darker, and that way I create that kind of 3D effect, like you can see that it's a round shape. I'm gonna emphasize some more of the lines, and then I'm gonna continue shading the dragon. With shading, it's important that you know from what direction the light is coming, so that you know what areas are actually in the shadows. So in this case it's the throat, but it's also the area around the eye, because you have the eyebrow ridge, and that will cast a shadow on the eye area because the eye goes a little bit inwards, just like with our own eyes, and that will create a shadow around it. And with that skills, that would be even more visible than with our own skin, so we're gonna shade that a little bit darker. So this dragon is nearly done, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to support this channel, actually the easiest way to do that is just watch another one of my videos. Because watching my videos will tell YouTube that you enjoy it and will push it to more people, and that would really make my day. So I thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye!